Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. And I hope y'all are having an amazing day today. All right, let's go ahead and jump in the market. So we've got Jolt's jobs reports going on at 7 o'clock. Let's take a look at what we got going on. Okay, so we've got consumer confidence reports at 7, as well as Jolt's jobs openings and jobs quits at 7 o'clock. 7:30, we've got the Dallas Fed Services Index. So we got to be cautious of these. It's coming up in about 15 minutes or so. So we'll be aware of those. Good morning, Kevin. Good to see you here. I'm just going to, chair's a little low. Ugh. All right. Must have oxygen in our bodies in order to make good decisions. All right, let's jump on in to the marketos. So we're in the micros. Took a beating yesterday. We only have $29 available on our trail max. So my goal here today is to just trade small and work the trail max back up. Hopefully to about $100. So profit target is roughly $70 today. Pretty low profit target today, but after not taking my profits at green 250 yesterday, ended up trading during a lot of volatility and a lot of choppiness and going straight down on that. So we're going to be working on something a little bit different today. And looks like we have a reasonable setup here. Let's wait for a little bit more confirmation on this. And it's currently, I get a clock here, 6:46. So we've got indicator of push up here with the green cross there. 35 is below 50 at the moment. Looking at 7-tick move. 210 at negative 1.0. Going in the right direction on the upside. So there's some resistance at 55.20. I'm going to be cautious of that. 9 is still below 12 at the moment. Going to be hyper focused in terms of the actual move here. This is looking more bearish to me than bullish. But right now I'm just open-minded, looking for a proper entry. 9 is still below 12. And all of it's below the 26. 35 is below 50. Currently looking rather bearish. The one bullish sign I see is 50 above 200 at the moment. And a potential for a cyan switch here. That is on the 10-second side. This rip could happen quickly if it begins. TTM on the 1-minute side, pulling back to 1.0. So if we do get a bounce, I'd be looking for it right around where we're at currently. 9 is below 12 on the 1-minute side. So that also looks bearish in its own right. On approach for a potential 9, 12, 26 crossover to the downside. The 200 moving average is above the VWAP. So that also looks bearish in and of itself. ES is currently up about a quarter of a point today at $14. So and this is pretty similar to what it was yesterday at the beginning of the day, where it looked like we could be bullish, but the bears essentially stepped in and said, no way, we're not going to give that to you. Find the bid here. So we're in 3 contracts for the micro, looking for 7 ticks for an exit at 20.5. There's a cyan switch there. We don't have this 1226 crossover yet. 9 is just okay. There's the 1226, but it's on the current candle, so we need this to go through to the next candle. We're hitting resistance at 1975. Almost got our trade out, but yep, pulling back some. Putting the exit at 19.5, and I'm gonna drop this down to 5 ticks. Pretty disappointed that I didn't take that trade off a little bit earlier, but we're just kind of getting a feel for the market right now. Dropping it down again, only going for 2 or 3 ticks on this, 2 ticks actually, and yep, it's pulling back. We're out.
Order filled.
And we pretty much just failed there. Yeah, that's a failure. Dang it. That's too bad. That was a good trade, and just didn't pull enough profit out of it. So basically I was about 3 ticks above where we needed to be. The entrance was good at 1875. The exit needed to be 1950, and that's a failure. And so here we are now, yet again. We're gonna have to go back, do another evaluation, do another $180. These things are rather expensive and very frustrating. So here's where we are. Them's the breaks, unfortunately, and I tried to trade it pretty small, didn't work out. Unfortunate there. Looking at it on the 1 minute side, you can see this. I guess my concern was that we would bounce off this EMA 35 right here, and not have this significant of a pullback. And you can see there is some pullback to the upside, but this ultimately looks bearish looking at it on the 1 minute side. So we may continue to see some drop as we go here. I'll just continue to narrate since I can no longer trade. For whatever reason, we lost music yet again. I don't know what that issue is, but I remember that we used to have it back in the day when we would stream. So I'm going to have to requalify again. I know that I'm not happy about it. I know you guys aren't happy about it, but this is part of the process, and we just have to accept that we're not infallible as people. So at least that's what I have to accept. Why do we not have music? There we go. All right, a little bit easier to talk through that. So I guess in hindsight, really looking at it on the 1 minute side, it should have been a short. I mean, definitely since we're moving into a 9, 12, 26 crossover on the down. This brings up something for me, just consideration, is that if I'm in the process of redeveloping a trail max, then perhaps what would be the more valuable approach would be to be looking at the longer term charts. Now, normally when I'm trading this 10-second chart because I've been really accurate with it through much of my trading. And you can see with this, there was strong indication of move to the upside on the 10-second side. And initially the trade was good, and here looks to be a push up potentially. And this potentially could end up going where our original trade was, who knows, but this looks better than the initial trade here that we took for 2 reasons. Number one, what I see here is the science, which is getting a little bit more power behind it. Number two, the other thing that I see is that this 9, 12, 26 crossover has a little bit more divergence, and we could still continue to see rejection here off the VWAP and 200 moving average, which looks like it likely will do, but we're seeing the 35 approach towards the 50, and the closer this 35 gets to the 50 here, the more surefire that we'll see an actual upward move. So this could be waiting for a JOLTS job report for the breakout. But if you look at the ES, it's really actually moving more sideways than it is on the downtrend. We've only pulled back on this whole thing here since the open. Was that the yeah? It's about 642 or so. So we had a rip at the open. So this is looking like a green to red move, which is what was pulled yesterday. Was also a green to red. Now, whether or not this stays this way, I don't know. But yesterday did have a green to red from green in the pre-market with a red at the open, followed by red to green, and then immediate back down to red and continuing on. So I wonder if we'll see pull back all the way to the VWAP here, which would be about 55.08. If we drop below the VWAP, then I can see us going bearish on the day. But dropping below this 200 moving average, not that big a deal. If we drop below the VWAP and consolidate along the VWAP while this 200 moving average works its way back down, then we'll have strong indication for an upward switch. On the whole, though, when I'm looking at this from a longer term viewpoint here, the market looks very bearish. And I think as we go into August, we'll continue to see a lot of this bearish movement here. There is, some closeness here of a 5200 cross to the upside on the hourly chart, but at the moment, no cross. There is a bear flag down here on the hourly chart with some trend to the upside. Whether or not this sticks around, who knows? But if we drop below 5,500, we may stay there for a little while. On the whole, though, the hourly chart looks bullish to me, with the TTM stacking up at 7.0 and the 9/12/26 crossover happening on the hourly chart. As far as resistance, though, I'd be looking up here at the 200 moving average at 55.50 on the very high end. Now, this would be a pretty epic rip within the day, but on the hourly chart here, looking at 55.50 as the resistance. So we may see some popping up here in the coming week up to this zone and some rejections along the way, while this consolidation between 50 and 5,500 continues to happen. It's okay, Tiny. I mean, it's just all part of the process, It's just more money out, not a big deal. As we send more money out, we bring more money back in. Not a big deal. But I will say this: if you guys would like to support the channel, support me getting new evaluations, and help support these live streams, feel free to pick up an evaluation for yourself. There are links in the description, and there are promotional codes so that you guys can save a lot of money. Apex is currently 80% off. Elite Trader Funding is doing 50% off right now off the fast tracks. So if you want access to a 100K account for just under $40, Elite Trader Funding is definitely there and available for you guys. Just to pop them up here for a moment, pay some shout out to, in my own personal opinion, some of the best in the industry. They did get a new logo a couple of days ago. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm sure it'll grow on me. They are rocking 50% off when the 100K fast tracks right now, and 30% off resets. So there's a link in the description. JS Best is the promo code that you want to use in order to grab this. This is going on for the next day and a half. And these guys here, these fast track evaluations, these are pretty cool. So you actually get the ability to get access to a 100K account for just $37.50 right now. And you have a max drawdown of 3,000. So you can take it to 14 contracts. And your profit target is 6,000 on this, but again, taking 14 contracts on the mini, I mean, that's a heck of a lot to be looking at there. If you were to max position, which I typically don't my own self, but if you were to max position, that means that you're looking at $175 per tick. So if you're going for 6,000 divided by that 175 at a max position, you're only looking to make 35 ticks in order to pass that evaluation. So it is there. Obviously, there are the rules that you have to follow. There's a minimum of 5 trading days on the fast tracks, and a maximum of 14 calendar days. So you're looking to pass this within 2 weeks. So this is definitely for people who like to trade big and like to take big momentum trades. But these are currently half off right now. At Elite Trader Funding, wonderful customer service. These guys, love these guys for that. Apex Trader Funding, also available, currently doing 80% off for the next day and a half as well. And these guys, you can get access to a 40, 50K or 25K or 50K account relatively inexpensively. You get a 25K account for I think about $34, and a 50K account for a little bit more. If you're going with Tradeovate, these guys here are normally $167 for a 25K account, currently being sold for $33, and even less on NinjaTrader. Personally, I like the 50K or 100K accounts because I just feel like they give you a little bit more room to work with, although the 25Ks are pretty easy to pass. And which is one thing I like about it, because you do get the opportunity to get into a funded account pretty quickly and easily, but I only have to hit a $1,500 profit target. But that is a little deceptive, because your trail maxes are also only $1,500. So if you have one bad day like we did yesterday, you're going to need to make sure that you have very strong risk management, which I did not practice yesterday. And so, that's one of the reasons why we are where we are. So, having said all that, there is links in the description with promo codes, so you guys can take advantage of that. JS Best over at Elite Trader Funding, and I think you just need to click the link in the description in order to get the Apex discount. Jumping back over to the markets today, see what ended up happening here. We're still on the hourly chart. I'm going to jump over to the 1 minute. So, big dump there at 7 o'clock on the JOLTS job reports. Let's take a look at that JOLTS. So we've got consumer confidence reports. I totally just spilled my water on my phone. That's awesome. Give me a second here. I get a text at that moment. Kind of distracted me. And now my desk is wet. Huzzah. All right. Consumer confidence reports. So we've got the actual at 100.3. And we have no indication on the consumer confidence reports of what is necessarily good or bad. But I'm guessing that consumer confidence reports going up is a good thing versus down. The JOLTS job openings, actual is at 8.184. The forecast was at 8 million, and our prior was 8.23. So 8.184 job openings. Now, in the United States, job openings refer to all positions that are open and not filled on the last business day of the month. Now, job openings are part of the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey, or JOLTS. The survey collects data from around 164,000 non-farm establishments, including retailers and manufacturers, as well as federal, state, and local governments, entities in the 50 states in the District of Columbia. The JOLT assesses unmet demand for labor in the U.S. labor market, gained attention in 2014 as a favorite labor market indicator for the Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen. Now, what Janet Yellen is not taking into account is, this is very important to understand here, is that the job openings are not job hires. It's very, very important there, because there are a lot of companies, and y'all can verify this if you'd like, but there are a lot of companies that will actually post job openings with no intention of filling those jobs. And that happens for a couple of different reasons. Number one, it shows that there is expansion in the company, even if there is not expansion in the company. And so, if we're thinking about this in terms of a stock, right? Let's just use company A. I don't want to name any companies, but let's just say company A wants to increase or at least maintain their stock price. They want to look like they're expanding. They want to look like they're doing very well. So they might post a bunch of job openings on their website, and those job openings never have any intention of ever being filled. So people will apply, nothing, they'll never hear back, or they'll hear, sorry, we denied your application. And they never actually fill those positions. So there are positions that are active that stay for months and sometimes even years without fulfilling those positions, with the company being able to easily explain that away by simply saying, we just haven't found the right fit. We're running into a skill crisis, whatever they want to say. But at the end of the day, those job openings can be used to artificially keep stock prices higher, while not actually being real job openings. And those are very, very common. I'll just say that. So those are very, very common. And so that's one of the reasons why we see this number constantly increasing. Even though, and when we look at it, we're like, well, we got 8 million plus job openings. What's the problem? Well, no, people must not want to work. That's not really necessarily the scenario. Not every job posting is a real job posting. Job quits, when we take a look at this, we're at 3.28 million. Now, job quits in the United States, job quits are generally voluntary separations initiated by the employee. Therefore, the quits can serve as a measure of workers' willingness and or ability to leave jobs. The quits rate is computed by dividing the number of quits by employment and multiplying that quotient by 100. So currently sitting at 3.282 million job quits in the last month versus 3.46 million job quits in the beginning of July. So here we are, July 30th. Still seeing, a lot of people quitting. Roughly pretty consistent though. 3.6, 3.47, 3.39, 3.38. Sorry, eyesight thing. 3.48, etc. So roughly between 3.4 and 3.5 million quits per month across the board. So that seems like a pretty consistent. So when I look at this, I'm like, okay, well, this doesn't actually seem like that good of an indicator. I actually think both the JOLTS job openings and the quits, my own personal opinion, if I'm actually looking for a real perspective of getting an understanding of the economy, I wouldn't really look to these as being strong indications of good or bad expansion or contraction. In my opinion, these are kind of somewhat nothing reports that don't really provide a ton of economic value. So sorry, Janet Yellen, I completely disagree. I do not believe these are valuable reports. My own 2 cents. Now, consumer confidence is a little bit different because there are a lot of consumer confidence reports that are actually surveys with people who are genuinely consumers. This would have less weight to me if this consumer confidence report was done on people who are like CEOs and people who are actually operating within the companies. I'm more interested in what the people have to say because it's the people who are actually spending the money. It's the people who feel the pinch of inflation, and it's the people who feel the pinch of hidden taxation. So I'd be more interested in something like the consumer confidence versus the JOLTS. Just my 2 cents. All right. So we did see pullback to slightly below the volume weighted average price and bouncing off the opening range. we are seeing a reversal formation. Now, it's not an actual reversal, okay? Just a reversal formation of the chart here by bouncing off that opening range and moving the TTM up to negative 1.8. So if we see a cyan switch, we may see a strong move to the upside with resistance up here at 55.25, as well as resistance along this line here at 55.17, 18, call it 55.18. Now, this move here could fail, although it does provide a little bit of confidence considering that we were able to get back above VWAP. The failure that I see, the hole in the move up, would be this 5200 moving average crossover. That actually happens on the downside. One more indication on the bullish side here is the 26 crossing below the EMA 35. Now, this is on the previous candle and current candle, so don't take a lot of stock in this just yet. I would need to see, in order to have confidence for an upside move, a 9 crossing above the 12, and really the 1226 crossover would be ideal, but also the cyan switch. So all of these factors combined to actually see an upward direction move. Little miffed at myself that I took the beginning of the drop, but here we are. Dropping back below volume weighted average price, this could spell a downside move if we can't stay above VWAP. That's kind of the line in the sand that I'm looking at today. VWAP's going to play a vital role on today's trading, I believe. Of course, I'm already failed and out, but nonetheless, I still want to be here to be able to provide commentary. Maybe jobs closed and no longer available could also be measured somehow. I think that would be valuable. Tiny, I think that one of the biggest issues with the jobs, I think what a better indicator would be is job hires, new hires, people who are actually hired into jobs. I think that when we look at I could care less how many job openings are. I could even care less what the job ratio is of new hires to job openings. I'd just be looking at hires as a raw statistic, because that in and of itself, to me, shows more expansion of a company than its job openings. Job openings, in my opinion, are nothing more than a fluff indicator that are designed in order to keep stock prices higher. So, you know, I personally have a lot of disagreement in terms of Janet Yellen's ideas on the economy. But she's in the position she's in. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Um, but having said all that, just looking at it from a common sense perspective, who cares how many job openings there are? I care about who's getting hired and how that's impacting local economies, how people are able to put food on their table and pay their mortgage. To me, that's a real indicator of the economy. Everything else is just BS. So this did manage to stay above the volume weighted average price. We're getting some hammer candles at the end of a bear flag here. So could go either way. TTM moving now to 0.9. If this ends up as an ABCD pattern, we'll see the W shape here and another bounce potentially off the opening range for that move back up. Now, there is a 5200 cross down here, and this right here could spell another big move to the downside. That right there is probably the biggest indication to watch at this particular moment in time. I know I personally wouldn't feel confident taking a long off of VWAP right now. I would not feel confident, just for clarity, just in case that sounded Not completely clear. TTM now at 0.6. Okay, there's that bounce off of VWAP. A little bit of it. Watching this on the 1 minute side, TTM now at 0.4 or so. I'm going to take a look at the 10-second chart because this is going to give us the indication of a full-on breakout. Currently, this has 9/12/26 cross with red dot cyan. So, not a confident perspective on the cyan at the moment. And 5200 is a little far away. But this 5200 cross is going to happen before the upside move, or at least I should say the full size upside. So if the breakout does happen off that VWAP, it's going to show up in the 10-second chart first. Right now, it's not looking good for long perspective. And a sideways chop. That whole red candle filled though pretty quickly. Hammer candle right here could indicate some upward move. You get an up hammer, a red hammer preferably. Of course, I'm not taking any more trades because I already failed, but yeah, there's your move. So let's see on the 10-second side if cyan switched green yet. Still a red dot. Jumping on the green dot now, which could indicate that we're getting a little bit more buys than sells. Yep. There you go. So there's the beginning of the move for a VWAP bounce here at about 7:15. Might see some rejection off that 200 moving average there on the 10-second side. So I'd be looking for pullbacks to about 55.10 or maybe 55.12. Right at this 10-second 9 EMA. So there's 55.10. Downward cross indication here with the 8 and 9 SMA. May end up failing. So you got one cyan switch here on the 1 minute side. Rejected off that 200 moving average there, 55.14. 1 minute chart, 9 is still below 12. This looks like a false breakout. We'll see if VWAP holds. VWAP holds a third time, then could be strong indication of reversal. But this looks like a false breakout to set up for a bear trap. Pulling back to the opening range. Unless you see a lot of buyers come in here, this looks like a false break. This would need to get above VWAP and then hit resistance at 1250, pull back again, and then rip. If this drops below the opening range, let's see. It's looking like a full-on bear trap. You see that? See all that? The sellers just came in? Almost 6,500 contracts sold. Almost no buys on that candle. You see that? Yep. False breakout. Let's see. Will it drop below the opening range? That's the biggest thing I'm looking at here. You got double support here. If you get a double bottom, it's a little bit different. But you got that red on TCM, so it doesn't look good for the reversal. 9 is moving below VWAP. Does not look good for the reversal to the upside. It doesn't mean it won't happen, because this currently is support where it's at. As you can see here and here, which is that opening range as support. That's that cyan line that you see. Pretty choppy, just like yesterday. The 10-second chart, no indication of an upward move yet on 10-second. That 55.05 is more or less the support zone. Looking a little bit better for reversal. Cyan at 0 now, or TTM at 0 rather. 9 still below 12. There's a little bit of a cyan, but on a red dot. Still indicating a little bit more sells than buys. I always forget the definition of the red and green dot. Like, it's pretty consistent. I just focus on trying to remember the green means good, red means bad. That's like the big thing that I just focus on. There you go, pulling back to the opening range again. Unless it breaks out here, man, it's done. At least that's my thought. Opening range has to stay as support. Those bears, man, they got it. They have a pretty strong concept of what they do. They run it up, make it look green on the day, which tricks people into considering that the day is bullish. Kind of pushes for over trading. It's pretty fascinating, the psychology that goes into it. At least I find it very, very fascinating, because it's sort of like psychology from like a marketing standpoint. It really. Obviously, I would have to take time to expand on that. I spent a lot of time as a marketer, and often the way that marketing is typically positioned is that something is better than it actually really is a lot of the time, and so that sort of positioning is like, it's sort of like it highlights all the good things about something without necessarily calling out the bad. And so it sort of almost seems like they advertise that it's like, yeah, we're bullish on the day, and they have like a look at it being about 0.25%. It's like very consistent at that 0.25%. And then they pull it back down to about break even and let it operate within the range of that 0.25%, with bulls being in control and filling on the flat. But I find that interesting. I meant to say bears in control, not bulls. Alright, so this right here looks like a good indication of a pop potentially up to about 55.10. Okay, so, and I say that because you've got 9 now getting above 12. You've got on approach for a cyan switch, which looks to be a stronger one, because a lot of people are probably going to fill at this opening range here. So they'll fill those shorts and push that back up to about 55.10 is my guess. So reasonable move up here. And also 55.10, as you can see, 10.75 is the 200 moving average top there. So 55.10 would require to get above and stay above the 50 moving average. There's a 9.12.26 cross. You can see it right there. 8 SMA indicating downward move and indicating rejection off of the 50. Let's see if that stays consistent. We'll need another 10 to 20 seconds to really know. I know for my own self, I wouldn't feel confident taking a trade right there. Really, a lot of it would be because of that 8 SMA cross telling me, hey, you know what, we might see some rejections. Currently, 9 is above 12 and reasonable divergence from the 26. To really be confident in this upward move, I'd want to see the 9 EMA get above the 50. Gonna pull back now. That 8 SMA called out the rejection before it happened. You can see it right there. And then here's the rejection here, rejected 3 times. So it called it out 10 seconds before. So if I saw that, I would have been putting my sell order right here. So if I had already entered long, say right here at 475, I would have put my exit at 625 along the 50. Let's see if this creates the Eagle Mantis. So there's an indication of 8 SMA cross toward the upside. 9 is still below 12, but this looks like it's gonna do its breakout. So this here looks to be the move initially that this one potentially was meant for. So 55.10 is where I would put that resistance and that take profit, and I would be looking to enter on a pullback either right here off the 50 or potentially off the 35. Yeah, off the 50 would have been the move there. About $6, like 55.06 would be the entry. And here's the move. See if you get the break above 7.5. Break above 7.5 is going to be pretty crucial. So here's a op for an entry right there. That'd be kind of a risky move after the drop, but it's still a reasonable opportunity for an entry. There's a 8.12 or a 8.9 cross again. So again, need some time to rather know if it's really real. All right, so there you go. There's the 9.12.26 or the 9.12 cross above the 50. It's only one candle in, so it's not confirmed. It won't be confirmed for another 2 candles. See? You need at least a 2 to 3 candle confirmation in order to really see whether or not that's the breakout is real. When it comes to these particular types of crossovers, that's what you're looking for. I'm curious what my accuracy was just terrible yesterday. But like, yeah, overall, like I had way more losses than I ever normally take. 7 losses, and only 6 wins. Very, very different than me normally. I think this is the whole thing. Oh, no, there's actually a little bit more. I guess I traded last week with this account. Did I trade last week with a paid account? Yeah, I did, because I had to like trade myself out of that hole on Thursday. Okay. So 8 losses. 7 of them on this week. And 18 wins. So pretty poor in my opinion. 70-30. That's way lower than I normally am at, but here we are. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. Obviously not doing any more trading. So I measure those jobs to show how many are held in the past 30 to 60 days. That would actually be a really good indicator. Like jobs that are held between like past 30 or maybe past 60 or even past 90. I think that like if you like job hires held past 90 days, that right there, like I think that would be a rock solid economic indicator. That would actually be awesome, Tiny. Um the the tiny the tiny report. That'd be sick. I think that'd be Tiny. I think you just figured out the whole job reports economy. You just found the indicator that we actually need. Um, New hires held past 90 days. Real indication of economic expansion. Dunsies. Dunsies. F this whole concept of the, you know, job openings. One of the worst reports in all of economic reporting. Sorry, Janet Yellen. You're just trying to sell us a bill of goods with that. Yeah, the job openings, not a real report. Not in my opinion. The tiny report, that's a real report. That's the one I'd like to see. Where's that? All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace. I'll be back with a new evaluation and we'll get that passed up and then we'll trade better next time. Who would have a clue how to do it, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, whether you know or not. I mean, somebody will figure it out. If not you, somebody. Um, yeah. We'll see you tomorrow morning. I'll be back with a new evaluation. We'll get that all passed up and then pay our fee yet again. And hopefully trade better. So the account is for the family. That's the deal. The account is for the family. And that's where the money goes. So take a moment, guys, smash those like buttons. Thank you for the comments, thank you for the views, thank you for hanging out. I really do appreciate you guys. Much love and respect. It's for the family, all of this. So all right, Optimus, we will see you in the Discord community, and I'm out for the day. Peace. Yeah, my ideas get stolen. Honestly, that's an idea that, like, you know, sometimes I'm just like, heck with it, man. Steal my idea. Just make the thing so that I can have access to it. But yeah, because I can't make everything, right? All right, y'all. Love you.